Hi, I hope you're having a fantastic day. If you've seen some of these videos before, welcome back. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Alan, and today we are going to talk about travel in kind of the broadest sense possible. What I really want to talk about is why travel is so important, how it can change you, how it can bring us all together. Travel is one of the most special things that we can do. It lets us experience new things and new places in ways that we can't do if we're just in our own neighborhood, in our hometown, in our state sometimes. So let's get into a few specifics of why you should travel, what you can really get out of it, and how it helps everybody. The first thing is the most basic, relaxation or reset. We all have incredibly busy lives. We get burnt out. There's always something else to do. Travel gives us a chance to break away from that, whether we choose to explore an adventure out in the world, whether we choose to go to a beach and relax, whether we go to a ski vacation and just enjoy the snow and play around and have fun. It's a chance to reset. I know that a lot of times I'm a lot more tired, but it's different. I get up and I'm excited every day to do all the things and see sights and explore and adventure and try something new. And that's my personal style. It is not as refreshing and relaxing as much as it is rejuvenating. I want to share a personal story. So when I was in my 20s, I was working in the restaurant industry, making a fair amount of money, but nothing to really like save, nothing to work on buying a house. And all I wanted to do was explore. So I'd put away $5,000 to $10,000 and then spend it all on a trip, come back essentially broke, start over, same job, so I didn't have to like look for a new job. And that's how I lived for almost a decade. My dad occasionally would ask me, what am I doing with my life that I'm spending all my money traveling and I don't have anything saved up? And that's just how I wanted to live. That draw to travel again, that was what kind of kept me going. It still kind of is what keeps me going a lot of times. But, you know, that relaxation and reset is huge for everybody. I know that anyone who travels, they are looking for maybe not the relaxation, but the reset part. If you need a reset, take a trip. The next reason that you might want to travel is for adventure. This is more along the lines of what I like to do. As a quick aside, these are going to go from more kind of general top level things to deeper as we get into the video. So the second one is adventure. Not everybody wants an adventure when they vacation. Some people just want that relaxation, but it is a chance to step out of your comfort zone, maybe do something adventurous that you wouldn't do at home, whether it's, you know, trying a new food, hot air balloon, skydiving, that kind of thing. There are so many ways to have adventures that I think it encompasses a lot. For some people, just going somewhere is the adventure. If you haven't traveled a lot, just being in a different place is a huge adventure. And it's a great chance to experience new things. So that's why I focus on adventure travel. Adventure means something different to everybody, but everybody can experience adventure if they'd like to. While I do understand relaxation, I like a good mix of winding down and adventure in both what I do and who I work with when I am building travel itineraries. The third one is just a change of scenery. This is not much different from a reset, but it is a little bit more specific. The closer you are to the North or South poles, winter in your area can be dark and dismal. In Seattle, it's gray for a lot of the year, and a change of scenery just helps break those like winter blues. On the other hand, it can be great to go visit a place in wintertime, even if it's summer where you're at. For most of us, especially if you've got kids or if you are a teacher or something like that, summer is the easiest time to travel. And if you travel to the opposite hemisphere, yes, it could be winter if you go far enough south, but in that specific place, they won't be on the same vacation. So it can help that way as well. Now, while all three of those are important, I feel like they are a little bit of a surface level of why travel is important, why you should travel. The next few are more individual and really specific to you. Some people, they're happy with the first three things. There are some vacations where that's the best for me. Like, all I want is a change of scenery, some adventure, and a reset. When you look a little bit deeper, the first way that travel can really change you is it can give you perspective, especially if you're someone who does not travel much. There are a lot of countries where you hear a lot of stuff and it is not a good time to go there. There are other places where you hear a lot of things and it's very generalized. And there are locations that you probably want to stay away from as a tourist, but other places that are great within that country or that region. So maybe in this example, you go to somewhere in Mexico and you enjoy the food and you realize that you feel safe and people are happy and locals are friendly, and it can really change your perspective on that place. You know, you can also have your perspective changed on the world in general. If you are locked in your neighborhood, in your bubble, even if people have different, racial and cultural backgrounds, it tends to feel more homogenous because you're still in this safe zone of your neighborhood. Where if you go and visit places poorer or more affluent, you can see a different perspective of how people live in that area. You can see a different perspective of how they view life and what is important to a specific culture. There are a lot of places out there where experiences are more important. Family is even more important than it is to most people here. Connection and community and all these things that we kind of want, but tend to not enjoy in our day-to-day life, where, in Europe, you'll see people out and about more than sitting at home watching TV. It can really open your eyes to privileges you might have or perspectives you might have. And it's not about anything being better or worse. It's just different. And people live differently in different places. And having that perspective allows you to bring that home and take a chance to reflect on your life. Another huge reason that travel is important is connection and connecting with people from other cultures. Like I said, it's tough for me to approach people, but I am happy to receive people saying hello and saying hi back. In fact, I'll tell you another story. I lived in Prague for a couple of years in the Czech Republic, and here, walking down the street, I'm not like one of these goofy guys that's like, hey to everybody, but I do, like, if I'm walking and I meet eyes with somebody as they come across, just a nice polite smile, maybe a small head nod of acknowledgement that they're another human being in the world. But I lived in the Czech Republic for 2 years, and this is not a thing in parts of Eastern Europe, Central Europe. And one day I was walking down the street and there was a pretty girl walking my direction, and we kind of caught each other's eyes. I smiled, and maybe it was a little dorky because I was like, but I just smiled, and I didn't like say hi, I didn't wave, I didn't make any weird gesture, just a small smile. And she went from just looking at me to an expression of like, what the hell? That kind of opened my eyes to, again, going back to perspective, but just like the way people act in public in different places and how things are different. But getting back to the connection part of it, there are places where it's tougher to connect. And some places you really have to go out of your way. Some places are so welcoming that sometimes you get this feeling that they're going to ask for something. I was in Cairo, and I knew that Cairo was known for its touts, these people who are friendly and they welcome you in, and then you go to a tea shop and then they're trying to sell you this and this and this. And we met somebody and I knew what was going to happen, and I was okay with it. I figured if this happens, I'm okay spending like $150, $200 for this experience. I know I'm not getting taken for my money because I'm aware of the situation ahead of time, and it's just kind of one of these cultural things. But there are places where people are just absolutely friendly because they're friendly. That is the greatest thing when you can go someplace and connect with people on real terms. And connection doesn't only have to be with people. Connection can be with a place. The best thing to do when you go somewhere with a language you don't know, learn a few phrases just to kind of say hello and goodbye, thanks, please, can I have a beer? Those are kind of the basic things. And if you can do those, you can connect with people, but you can connect with a place really well. Going to restaurants is a great way to connect with cultures because not only do you get to try their food, but you can see how people dine. And I think that's a great way to connect to a place and figure out if it's a place that you want to return to, if it's a place that feels foreign and you get a bit of culture shock. In Europe, it's strange for us sometimes because they don't rush you out the door. You can sit forever and talk and have a coffee, and they don't shove you out. If you're from abroad and you come to places in the US, it's much different. Tips are expected, but not included most of the time. And the goal is to eat and leave so they can turn their tables. If you go to a place and you do some things there that you enjoy at home, I enjoy cars, so I'll go to a car thing or I'll race go-karts or something. And it's just a little way to connect my life at home to travel. And that's another great part of connection. The more we travel and the more we explore the world, the more you realize that we're all humans and we're all the same. And yes, travel is a way for one person to connect to another person, but it's a way for us all to kind of connect ourselves and connect the world. The last main thing of how travel changes you that I want to touch on today is growth. And that's a big one. If you travel and you are present when you travel, you will learn about places, you will experience a lot of things. I think it's very important to be present when you travel. If you're on vacation, please don't work. I know sometimes it's unavoidable, especially for some of us who have our own businesses. I try to work my time around times when I don't have people traveling. Do everything you can to be there. Stay off your phone as much as you can, unless you need it to translate. You want to take pictures, obviously things like that, but get off the internet, get off of social media. If you are in a place and you are experiencing the place, you will learn things, you will observe things, you will experience things that if you're on your phone, you just can't. My personal thought process is if you're just going to be on your phone the whole time, why spend the money to go somewhere? The more that you learn about the world and the places you visit, the more you'll learn about yourself, to be honest. Maybe you want to spend more time experiencing a different place and want to move somewhere. All of these things work together to help you grow as a person. I think travel builds compassion, it builds empathy, it builds character, because you have to struggle through things that you wouldn't have to struggle with at home. It gets you out of your comfort zone, and that's where we grow. My personal growth in travel has been to slow down when I travel. It's become less about checking things off the list and doing as much as I can, and more about traveling soulfully and thinking about things and being present and appreciating where I'm at in that given moment. Before we finish the video, I just want to talk about how travel is important for all of us. I've touched on it some, obviously, and how it changes you, but if we all do some traveling, a little bit of traveling, I really think this world would be a better place. I know not everybody has the capability and fortune to travel. I know that I'm lucky and I'm privileged in that way. And that's why also when I travel, I do the little things. I learn a few words of the language. I try to support local businesses as much as possible. The only time I'll really go out to McDonald's when I travel, if I'm sick, if I've been there for a while and my stomach is physically ill and I just need some comfort food from home. If we can take those steps, then maybe people who can't travel can also gain some perspective on us and realize that Americans aren't all loud, obnoxious, self-absorbed people. When I'm out and about, I don't want other people hearing my conversations. I don't want to hear other people's conversations. I don't really give a shit. But so I talk kind of quiet, and I don't know if that came from traveling or if it's just kind of who who I am. When you travel, you are a representative, not only for yourself, but where you're from, whether you like it or not. And I think it's important for all of us to show the best side that we can when we're out traveling. For now, I just want to say, please, 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 if you can travel, travel. And when you do, be present, travel safe, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.